Who is the most incompetent person you have ever witnessed? My parents had been saving for years to build their dream home, a cozy ranch in the countryside. They finally had enough and went to the local bank to get started. The bank approved their mortgage and hired Bob's Construction, a well-known name in town, to handle the build. Everyone swore by Bob's work, so my parents felt lucky to have him on board. But Bob wasn't exactly what you'd call hands-on. He overbooked jobs across the county and left most of the actual work to his inexperienced crew. Weeks turned into months, and the 6-month project stretched closer to a year. My parents would visit the site only to find vacant lots, materials installed backward, or nothing done at all. The mistakes were beyond belief. The framers built a wall straight through the bathtub because someone forgot to erase a line on the blueprints. My mom was told not to put heavy items in the kitchen cabinets because they weren't attached to studs, just drywall. The garage door? It was framed to open into the living room instead of facing the driveway. And my favorite? A plumber left his lunch bag on a half-finished kitchen cabinet, and instead of moving it, the cabinet maker just built the cabinet around it. Bob's excuses were endless, and his charm only went so far. My parents were losing time, money, and patience. But the worst came during the final inspection. The bank's representative showed up, and my parents refused to sign off on the disaster of a house. The bank rep, frustrated, grabbed the front door to leave, and the entire door frame fell on top of him. It wasn't even nailed in, just wedged into place. The bank was furious. Bob was furious. My parents were stuck in the middle, with threats of foreclosure from the bank and lawsuits from Bob for breach of contract. It felt hopeless. They scraped together what little savings they had and went to a local attorney named Tom. Tom listened to the whole mess, every mistake, every delay, every dollar wasted. My dad said he could see the wheels turning in Tom's head as he sorted through the paperwork. Then, suddenly, Tom smiled. "Let's get everyone together for a meeting," he said. The next day, everyone gathered at the bank. Bob, his attorney, the bank's representative, their attorney, my parents, and Tom. The tension was thick, but Tom didn't waste a second. "My clients have decided they no longer want this house," he said. "Please remove it." The room erupted in laughter. Remove the house? Was he joking? Tom calmly placed a deed on the table. "My clients own the land outright. The house was built on their property. They no longer want it there. You are trespassing." The laughter stopped. Bob's attorney stared at the deed, then turned to Bob. "You built a house on land you don't own?" Bob's face turned white. The bank's attorney started yelling at their representative. "You financed a house without financing the land?" The rep stammered, No?" Tom leaned back, clearly enjoying himself. "As I said, gentlemen, remove the house and restore the land to its original state, immediately." My dad said the blank stares on the other side of the table were priceless. Bob was out the money he'd already spent and had to pay to tear down the house. The bank fired their representative and paid to rebuild the house properly, at no extra cost to my parents. In the end, my parents finally got their dream home. And Bob, he never built another house in town again. That ranch is still standing today, and it's filled with all my childhood memories. Oh, and the plumber's lunch bag? We kept it. It's been a running joke in our family for decades.